Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Healing Arts. I'm Judy Allen, and along with my partner, Sue Johnson, we designed the Healing Arts to share with you, our viewers and listeners, the full range, the full spectrum of options for the kinds of healing that are needed. It might be physical healing from an operation, healing from the death of a loved one or a pet, or some sort of rejection, but whatever healing is needed with this podcast in the healing arts, we like to bring to you the full range of options that will assist you with your healing. My business partner, Sue, will be interviewing today a very special guest, someone who is a master of the flute instrument, Mr. Herb Wilborn. And he and Sue will talk more about how the performing arts and the musical arts help to facilitate healing. So without further ado, I take it to my partner, Sue Johnson.
Thank you, Miss Judy. Appreciate it. And we are so thrilled to welcome Herb Wilborn to be our guest performing artist today. Been hearing a lot about Herb Wilborn in Cleveland area. He's a semi-legend in terms of him and his band. And I ran into them at St. Mark's Jazz Vespers, which is a wonderful community event held during the summer months. And his flute it just made me think about our project, the Healing Arts, which really focuses on helping folks feel better mentally, deal with their mental health challenges. And one of the nice things about mental health is that, quote, it's coming out of the closet. It has come out of the closet. People of my generation, mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, grief, what have you, they weren't really talked about in the quote olden days. So Herb's music certainly reflects some of the beauty of how the arts can help those these days, talk about their challenges, get help with their challenges, which is what I hope Art Judy's and my project is helping people to do. So I've taken up enough of Herb's introductory time. And Herb Wilborn, welcome. How are you this morning?
I am well, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Well, that's wonderful. Tell us just a little bit of background. How did you get involved in music? What made you choose that field? And how did you end up doing the flute in particular?
Well, it all started quite a few years ago, Sue. I was a fourth grade student at Mount Pleasant Elementary School.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
really. And at that time, music was it was in the school system, and it was
Mhm.
the art that every student had an opportunity to participate in. And I happened to be in a first starting class. The instrument was called flutophone, and flutophone is just a straight plastic little flute that you play. And I was in a flutophone group for, I don't know, I guess a couple of months. And then my music teacher at the time, Mr. Ron Brown, introduced me to flute. And he actually was the gentleman who selected the instrument for me, as he did for all the other students. He selected the instrument based on mouth structure, teeth structure, and things like that. So, he looked at my embouchure, my mouth structure, and my teeth were pretty straight, and he said, "You'd be good for playing flute, Herb." And that's kind of how it all got started.
And then you became absorbed in it and
Yes.
developed it, or did you go through phases where you said, no, I don't think this is for me?
What was really amazing for me is and it was never an issue of wanting to ever stop. So the instrument actually was put in my path for a reason. And
Ah,
what was also kind of cool is all my siblings, my brothers and sisters, they all were introduced to music, but they didn't stay with the instrument. And my parents never once had to insist on me practicing. I used to practice on my own all the time for hours. So I just love the tone of the instrument, and it just kind of stayed with me.
And of course, music is the soul soother of the universe. If our world, our planet could get connected by music, that would solve so many problems of
Yeah,
all kinds
yeah,
because music is the universal way to communicate
it
through all
is.
cultures, all
Yeah,
countries, all, no matter what. And these days, they talk about male, female, the LBGQT
mhm,
group, and transgender. There's so many people to reach who also have mental health challenges, dealing with such things as depression,
right.
anxiety, and loss. So
Hmm.
your music touches the soul. Now, are you aware of that when you're playing and you see your
Hmm.
audience's reaction, or how you and your band and you just groove the whole time that you're up there on the stage? What is your feeling when you're playing your music?
Well, I'm gonna piggyback on one thing that you said in your statement, Sue. Music is a universal language, and music does reach from one end of the globe to the other. Now, you know, to apply that to mental health, now there are music therapy
Hmm.
certificates that you can actually get. If I wanted to be a musical therapist, I could go back to school. I don't know what the length of time is that's required to obtain that certification, but it is offered and has been offered for quite a few years because um, the world does recognize music as a healing entity. So, that does absolutely exist. Um, as it relates to me and my playing, yeah, over the years I have been approached by many people that have, shared with me how the music has affected them. I've had people, get in touch with me via my email address, um, and they share with me how they have gone through tough times and they heard one of my recordings and it really got them in a different place. And just recently, I did an event at Bedford. Bedford had a jazz fest, and they hired me and the guys, and it was a wonderful event downtown Bedford. And a gentleman, I can't recall his last name. I was trying to get my telephone to see if I could pull his picture up,
Hmm.
but his name is Rich, and I'm gonna try to get this picture up and just show you if I could. I,
Okay.
I tried to do that, as we're talking, I'm starting to remember. Oh, here he is. I got him. Here he is. Here he is. I'm going to show you this gentleman. This gentleman got in touch with my manager, Peter Jones, who, Sue, was a good friend of yours. And
Yes.
and he wrote a very nice um, comment on the band and things. Now, this gentleman, and I'll show you his picture if you can see it. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
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 All right. This gentleman has gone through multiple health challenges, and he can't speak. He can't speak.
Okay.
His condition has affected his vocal cords, so he's unable to speak. But how he communicates is he communicates through his laptop, and
Oh yeah.
he types in laptop and information that he wants to say, and then he shows it to you. You make a comment, and that's how you kind of go back and forth and interact with Rich. But Rich had never heard the band before, and he was out in Bedford, and he said the music really, really, really took him to a completely different place, and he forgot most of his ailments when he was at the show. So he got in touch with Peter. Peter got in touch with me. I got in touch with Rich, who was very gracious in me getting back in touch with him.
Uh-huh.
And he also came to a performance that we had in Bedford Heights. The first
Mhm.
was in Bedford, the second was in Bedford Heights. So that's where Rich and I took this picture in Bedford Heights. And he was just so happy and so gracious. He said the music really was soothing, and he had never kind of experienced that level of comfort before. So it was really gratifying and rewarding to hear someone And to your point, there are people that sometimes don't approach us, but I do absolutely believe that the music has benefited them in some way, with the mental health issues.
Indeed. Now, with your playing, uh, and the term, a lot of people don't know or don't remember, you
Mhm.
play a flute. However, your classification is a flautist. That's the old original word,
Yes,
for the instrument.
yes.
Do you also, the modern day, tend to call what you play as a flutist, or are you still a flautist?
Well, that question is posed to me all the time,
Uh-huh.
and here is the clarification of that. When you initially start playing the instrument, you are considered a flutist, but as you develop and you study classical music, which I did at the Cleveland Institute of Music for 7 years, as you become more efficient and proficient in the instrument, you then take the title of flautist. It's just a little more polished, that's all. A little more polish on
Yeah.
it. But it does separate you. It lets people know that this particular individual has pursued classical music and is classically trained. So there lies the two differences in flutist and flautist.
Well, I thank you, because I just thought people had messed up the word all these years. I didn't know there was a distinct
Distinction.
classification
Yes,
difference.
absolutely.
Um, and of course, in my responding, I just forgot what I was going to ask you. Oh,
That's
now I
okay.
remember.
Okay.
You studied classical music, but do you also do jazz and blues, and
Yes.
you do R&B and pop and things of that sort as well with your career?
Yes. Yes. It's interesting how life challenges you sometimes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it puts you in certain directions. It really does. Now, learning to play music at a young age, it's typically learning to read music and learning some of the theory of music. Um, but the introduction to jazz was really interesting for me, and it was kind of like a light bulb came on when it happened. My Probably my second year of learning flute, my music teacher took my flute, Ron Brown, he mastered all the instruments, all the woodwinds, and he's just tremendous musician. He played a jazz lick. He played a little quick little jazz lick, and I'm telling you that thing. I said, I gotta learn how to do that. I have to learn how to do that. So that was the spark that put me on the path of learning jazz. Isn't that something?
Yeah, that
You'd be surprised at the things that influence people. The littlest thing that light bulb can come on and say, I want to learn how to do that. So that's the story, and I'm sticking with it.
okay. Now, can we take a moment in our discussion, and as a classical jazz, total musician, can we hear a little bit of a selection from you? And then we'll talk a little bit more after you play what you have.
Sure. Now I just want to warn you guys, playing flute and playing any instrument, there should be a warm-up period to warm up your armature.
Oh,
you
of
know but
course. Yeah.
but so if you hear a crack or two, don't frown if you hear a crack or two, because I'm not warmed up, but I will attempt to do a little something. I'll try to do a little something here, Sue. Okay.
Okay, we'll accept it, whatever, because that musicians and any artist needs to know what is the process that one goes through, and that perfection, yeah, it's lovely, but things like vocalists,
Yes.
they need to really warm up. Sports people need to warm up.
Yes.
So we respect the fact that you feel as though you need to do a little more warm up to give your best performance. And we can apply that to everyday life and to people having mental health challenges, is to
Yes.
practice, to warm up to whatever the day is about to bring for them and whatever issues they're about to meet, and to practice things like listening to music to soothe their soul,
Yes.
meditation, guided imagery, exercise, whatever will help them warm up to the point where they can be more accepting of what they're going through. So having
Yes.
said all that,
Mm-hmm.
wherever you are with your abilities, we will love to hear a selection
Okay.
from you. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to play a number that I actually recorded on my first CD. The CD is called Joyride. It's no longer available, but I am getting it reprinted now on CD, and it's also going to be available on iTunes and Spotify and all of the music download sites. So I recorded this back in I want to say 1991, 1992, and it goes over well because it's a song that is universal. It's a universal song, and you'll recognize it just the very minute I start playing it. I won't play it very long, but I will play it. Okay.
Sure. Whenever you're ready. Somewhere
Wonderful. Lovely, lovely.
over the rainbow. That's one of my favorite pieces. And I love the fact that you have the title Joy, the word joy, in
Yes.
your title, because that's something that people need to know about, also about finding joy in moments and experiences in their lives.
Yes.
Happiness, as all the philosophers and the metaphysicians in the world say, happiness is fleeting. It lasts for however, for a time. Joy is something that is much more long lasting and fills your soul, with happiness. And
Absolutely.
so now I'm not quite sure where we are with the interview in terms of time, but before we do lose our time, I need to have you share with us, for folks who want to contact you to book you or to learn more about you,
Mm-hmm.
what are the best ways to reach out to you?
The absolute best way to reach out to me is get in touch with Judy Allen or Sue Johnson.
That works. Yes, it does. Yeah. Oh,
I
hey,
thought
you're
I'd throw
good,
it.
kid.
I thought I'd throw it at you, Sue and Judith. No, the absolute best way to get in touch with me for booking is go to my website, which is www.herbertwilbornjr.com, and you can pull up the information for my manager, Peter Lawson Jones. He's there. Telephone numbers are there, and you can contact him, and we can arrange some dialogue for booking.
And he's going to just love you for the 14,000 things a day that he does.
Yes,
So
yes,
you're
he
adding
does.
14,001.
Yeah, and I tell you, I have to commend him, Sue, because he and I have been good friends for over 45 years.
Okay.
And for him to And actually, he's been my manager, probably that a good part of 30 years. And, for him to maintain his schedule and still work at maintaining my schedule, I have to salute him because he is a very busy man, in
And he,
demand man.
yeah, and he's so community and sharing oriented.
Yes,
I
he
mean,
is.
I've never run into anybody who doesn't know his name, number one, and love him, number two.
Right.
And of course, I call him my little bro. He calls me his big sis. And he's just always there helping everybody,
Yes.
on the planet. He's got some special event coming up this month to honor him for his work that he does to help
Yes.
people.
Absolutely.
That's what our project is hoping to do, is show people how they can get help with the issues that they're facing. Were you going to say something there?
No, just that the event that actually is going to be honoring him. I was asked by Peter to perform at that particular event,
Oh,
but unfortunately, I'll be in New York that weekend on another adventure, so
uh-huh.
I won't be able to do that. But he's so worthy of all the things that he's getting. He's so worthy.
Yes, I don't have enough words of praise,
Yeah,
for,
yeah,
so well, I forgot what I was saying about, oh, help, which our
yes,
project hopes to do by putting people in touch with mental health professionals and organizations around town that offer free and no cost services for those dealing with issues. And that's on our website,
yes,
WUALstudio.org. And people can find out what organizations can help them clinically and socially to help with their mental health issues.
right.
Of course, our performing artists, such as you, are here to show how the arts can help soothe the hurt soul and help heal mental health challenges. Just taking a few minutes to listen to something, to watch something that takes their mind off their challenges.
Yes.
And then we also try to offer help through an event coming up for us, September 30th, our evening of play readings, where local playwrights have submitted their works, and we will do them. And the works are about mental health challenges that people are going through. And the characters, and they portray such things as loneliness and depression, etc.
Yes.
So we have and it's uplifting, to show how these characters portray getting help in the work that we are presenting September 22nd. So for information about that, you can email us at WUALstudio@gmail.com. Do you have an email address also, or do you prefer the website and Peter Lawson Jones?
Well, I do have a website. Excuse me, I do have an email address as well, which is, people have contacted me through my email address. We just really kind of put the website together a few years ago. But prior to that, I did have a website, but it wasn't as efficient as this one is. So I use my email address, which is, get this, Sue and Judy, fluteman747@yahoo.com.
Okay.
Yep.
Fluteman747@yahoo.com. But
Yes.
preferably go to the website for professional purposes, learn more about who you are, what you do, how you
Yes.
do it. The
Yes.
same for us at Wake Up and Live. So now I'm going to turn the program, after I thank you profusely for your beautiful work, your willingness to share with us your role as a performing artist in the greater Cleveland and national arenas.
Yeah, thank you.
So
I sure appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and we hope this show will help people see how music can also be added to the repertoire of how to feel better
Yes,
in life.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Judy?
So thank you again, Herb, for joining us. It was so soothing and so elevating to hear your rendition of Over the Rainbow. I know that our listeners and viewers also feel the same way. So,
Thank
to our listeners and viewers, thank you for coming and joining us today with our featured guest, Mr. Herb Wilborn. Please come back to this site on a regular basis to find out about more ways, more venues, more opportunities for self-healing that is meaningful and makes a difference in your life. So we wish you well. My business partner and I, Sue Johnson, wish you well and thank you for joining us today. That's all for now. Thank you and goodbye.
thank you.
Bye-bye. See you soon. Come
Bye.
back.